If you don't look closely enough, you might think that top players just naturally have much better reaction times than the average player. While it does make sense that players with better raw reaction times would fare better in fighting games, a lot more things make up the concept of reactions than just natural ability. Knowledge of your options, proper anticipation of what your opponent wants to do, awareness of your spacing. All of these serve to give you more time to react, giving off the illusion that your reaction time is faster than it is. The first step is knowing what your options are. If you don't know what you're supposed to be reacting with, there's no reaction in the first place. And if you find a faster option, you'll give yourself more time to react. Figuring out your options is highly dependent on the game you're playing and the characters you and your opponent are using, but some ideas are universal. One of these is to go into training mode and explore. This is what's commonly known in the fighting game community as going into the lab. You're basically doing research to give yourself more options, to make your character more powerful. Just set the opponent to do something that you want to react to and try anything you think might work. If you want to find the best option to whiff punish an opponent's normal, try all of your buttons. If you want to find the best option to get through a projectile, try seeing if you can feasibly react with one of your projectile invincible moves. If you're having trouble with an opponent's jump, check your options to anti-air. You never know what kind of crazy punish you might find. Just don't forget to mix up the timings that the training mode dummy is doing their move. If you only have one timing recorded, it's easy to just memorize the timing and not actually react, so make sure to record multiple. Another great idea is to go watch matches of other players playing against your opponent's character. You shouldn't expect to find everything yourself, and you're really dumb if you think you can. There's a lot of other smart, creative players that might have already found the options you want, so don't box yourself into that mindset of figuring everything out yourself. I found that while watching players that play the same character as me is most helpful for this, it's actually also useful to watch players playing other characters since some options could apply to your character as well or give you inspiration for something your character can do. One last side note, if you find multiple options, don't just judge an option by the reward you'll get if you can react in time and pull it off. If there's a punch that does 200 damage that you can react with 90% of the time, and one that does 220 damage that you can only react with 20% of the time since it's a little slower, the 200 damage one is the one you should be going for in most situations. Sometimes even the best players in the world aren't able to react in time to anti-air a jump. It's not that they don't have the reaction time to do it, they've done that anti-air thousands of times before. The hard part here is being ready for the jump. Research shows that reaction time gets slower the more divided your attention is, and well, I feel like that should be common sense. The more you focus your attention on other things like whiff punishing or checking dashes, the harder it becomes for you to react to a jump. If you instead anticipate the jump, the reaction should be a lot easier. Anticipation is key to any reaction. If you anticipate a specific normal attack, it's easier to get the whiff punish on it. If you anticipate a fireball, it's easier to get the reaction through. While many of these reactions are still pretty hard when you're looking for them, they're impossible if you're not. And that difference from impossible to just pretty hard is all you need. The other side of this is the fact that spending your focus on one thing inhibits your ability to react to everything else. I think a good way to think about it is that we only have a certain amount of focus and we have to choose how to allocate it. Choosing what options to prioritize your focus on at any given moment is a decision you have to make, and as discussed in the last video, you should consider the risk-reward for any decision you make. For example, if there's something that you might lose the round to if you don't react in time, you should probably spend a lot of your focus trying to react to that. You might be wondering how you can possibly tell what to spend your focus on given that there are so many possible things to be looking out for. Well, this is just another thing that comes with experience. As you play more, you're better able to judge what things are important. With that being said, I do have some words of advice to help guide you in doing this. A smart opponent will generally choose options they believe to have good risk-reward. These are the things you want to watch out for in most cases because even if they choose something else, they won't get as much out of it. They might throw a move out in neutral a lot because it leads to big damage. If you anticipate this, you can get the whiff punish. They might throw out a move they believe to be safe, while if you have a reaction ready, maybe it isn't. They might throw out a move they believe helps their positioning. Well, if you anticipate that, you might be able to react with an answer that keeps them where they are. Anticipation is all about what you think your opponent will do, and if you know what options they have that have good risk reward and anticipate those options, you're 2 steps ahead. Spatial Awareness. Being fully conscious of where you and your opponent are on the screen is so important to reactions. In some cases, more space literally translates to more time to react to an opponent's move. In other cases, your options are actually taken away if you stand at the wrong spot, and work wonders if you stand at the right spot. Always being aware of that exact spacing as you're focusing on the match might sound super advanced, but really it's just a bit of knowledge from your work in the lab and a little bit of thinking during the match. If you're looking to react to something, know what options work at your current position, and if there's somewhere else on the screen you can go where you might have better options or be able to react easier, then just use your brain and move. Hopefully you've learned the process professional players go through to make an amazing reaction happen. It's not just some superhuman reaction time, but a combination of that reaction time with knowledge, anticipation, and spatial awareness, which I think is actually a lot cooler. It's how Punk gets this insane whiff punish. It's how Momochi gets this one. And wow, this one.
Yes! He goes for the max punish there! Off of the fierce! He was just waiting for that!
And hey, look, this one too.
Yikes!
None of these required crazy reaction time, but yet only a select few players would have pulled these off. These reactions required mastery of the concept of reactions, not just reaction time. This was an episode of Concepts of Fighting Games by me, Nephew. Comment Go Team Frost if you learned something. I'm also looking for more ideas for these videos, so let me know if there's a concept you would like me to cover. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch the next one, and thank you so much for watching.